All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David. Baruch Hashem, Chodesh Tov, Chanukah Sameach, a good Chodesh and a Freilich Chanukah to all of our listeners. Everyone, thank you all, everyone, for joining. And very exciting, we're going to continue learning Likutey Halachos with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's help. I hope everyone enjoyed the Shabbos. Special thing that we took out 3 Sifrei Torah yesterday, a big Eis Ratzon. We spoke about that. Baruch Hashem. Sechinu. Okay. We're learning Likutey Halachos, Hilchos Birchas Hamazon, laws of benching. We're in Halacha Daled, and today we're up to Yud Beis. Okay, got it? Okay. We learned about we were learning Erev Shabbos, we were learning the ideas of Chanukah, of Ner Ishu Beisai, which is the basic mitzvah, right? You have one candle for one home. Mahadran is you light one candle for each person in the home. Mahadran and Mina Mahadran is you add one candle each night, as we've been doing and we will do tonight in Mitzvah Hashem. Okay, and that's called Maisif V'Hailech. And we were saying that Maisif is like the idea with Yosef. Yosef HaTzadik, Mosef, Yosef. Right? The same way the tzaddikim are constantly helping people to bring Jews back to Hashem, right? Their teachings, when they meet with people, right? They help bring people back to Hashem. So therefore they're considered adding. And that's why Yosef's name was called Yosef, and that's what's called Maisef V'Holech. Okay? Anyway, now we're going to continue. It's a beautiful lesson. Now we're going to continue with Yud Beis. And now we're going to learn about an interesting idea based on the menorah that we have to have azas to kedusha. You have to be in action when it comes to being an action.
What's an action?
How do you say action? Stubbornness. You have to be stubborn. You have to be stubborn. Yeah. When it comes to avodas Hashem, okay, we're going to see now. So here we go. So Zeh Bechinas, when it says V'zeh Maseh HaMenorah, this is the way the menorah was made. Miksha Zov Ad Yerecha Ad Pircha Mikshahi. From the top to the bottom, right? The menorah was one piece. Remember Moshe Rabbeinu was so what's that?
Oh, it's just amazing. They made
one solid piece of
amazing.
gold. Yeah, it couldn't be pieced together, it couldn't be welded together. It was hammered out of one piece of gold. And again we learned about the idea with Moshe Rabbeinu that he was so puzzled, how are we going to build this menorah, right? Although he built all these other beautiful kelim that were also very, very intricate. Like we said, the shulchan was very intricate, right? The mizbeach hazav was very, very intricate. The aron hakodesh and the kruvim, no problem. Moshe Rabbeinu had no problem with any of that, right? And each one of the crushim, the beams, had to fit one into the next one, right? And then you had the Buruch HaTichon, the middle center one that had to go. Every one of the holes had to be just lined up perfectly.
Anywhere else was the same condition? Like anywhere else was the same condition?
What does that mean?
Of making it from one piece? The kruvim?
No, didn't say.
Had to be from one piece?
No, it didn't say that. No, it says the menorah. Torah says Miksha Zav Ad Yerecha Ad Pircha.
Yeah, because
But Moshe Rabbeinu we learned was not trying to figure out how to make the menorah. To make the menorah is no big deal. We think it's difficult craft-wise. He could have done that. But Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to figure out, how am I going to make a menorah that's going to give light to the people in our generation? Now, is this menorah that I make, how is this menorah going to be able to also give off its light in the end of time? That's what Moshe Rabbeinu was puzzled with. We learned about that. Do you remember?
Do we have that menorah somewhere?
It's somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. Yeah.
Will we have it when Mashiach comes?
I hope so.
Some people say it's in the Vatican. Some people say it's buried somewhere on the Har
Who knows?
We'll
HaKadosh Baruch Hu will tell us if we'll see, don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll get all the kalim back, we'll get everything back. All those rights will give us back all of our stuff. All the thieves, right? Murderers and thieves. Wow, what they stole from Klal Yisrael. Unbelievable. No, really, if they would make an accounting of all the things that were stolen from the Jewish people from the beginning of time, right? We would have all the money in the whole world. They would owe us all the money in the whole world. Yeah, they owe it to us. They owe it to us. They stole from us.
They say that we have all the money. We have all the money.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Ki isa b'divrei Rabbeinu Zechreinu L'bracha shetzrichen liyos. Okay, the Rebbe writes in lesson Mem Ches, 48, lesson 48 in the second book. Okay, shetzrichen liyos action gadol b'avodas Hashem. You have to be very stubborn when it comes to serving Hashem. You have to be stubborn. You have to set your mind to it, and then just stay with it. Right? He's going to say, "Umi shehiskil ma'at b'avodas Hashem yodei azos." And he says, anyone that started to serve Hashem, you made an attempt. You said, I'm going to start to do the right thing now, and you're going to start to serve Hashem. Oh boy, you're going to get so much opposition, right? A lot of opposition. We learned about that, the begodim soyim, right? The soiled garments. Yesterday's Haftorah, right? Reb Shalom, right? Take off those soiled garments. Put on the clean garments. Take off the soiled garments. Unbelievable. No, sorry, Reb Shalom, I was thinking of that when we were learning it, and you said it's in the Haftorah Shabbos Chanukah. I was looking at it, and here he is. There it was, the Begoyim. Unbelievable. Very good, very good. No, because we have those soiled garments, they come up and they make make opposition. So therefore, you have to be you have to be in action. You have to be very, very stubborn. Because you can't be a good Jew unless you're stubborn. Now, he doesn't mean stubborn, where your wife tells you to take out the garbage and I am not taking out the garbage. That doesn't mean that. He means I'm going to do my Shnai Mikveh Targum. I'll be stubborn to make sure I do that. I'll be stubborn to learn my Mishnah. I miss my daf. Whatever program you're in. Come to Likutey Halachos class. I'm going to be stubborn. That's what you have to do. You have to be stubborn, and then you'll be able to be successful. And we can all relate to that, right? Yeah. Ki harbe harapas kois va'aliyos v'yeridos. There's so many different crooked, different things coming our way. All different stuff. Life happens. Let's call it life happens. Life happens. A lot of aliyahs and yeridos. And you have to deal with each one at a time, and just go past all of them. They're all going to come at you. And where are they coming from? We learned from those begodim signs, those soiled garments. That's why learning Torah is so important. If I learn, I'm always cleaning those spiritual garments, which is the things that are coming to prevent me. If And if you're not going to do this, whatever little bit you started, you're not going to have it. If you're not going to be stubborn in keeping to the program, it's not going to work out. Only if you start stubborn and you stick to the program will you be successful. Now he says, "Ubefrat l'neseya v'lovay l'Eretz Yisrael." How do you like that? Those people that are traveling and want to go to Eretz Yisrael. I'm telling you, I learned this, and this is when I really wanted to come to Eretz Yisrael. I'm telling you. This is how you have this desire, you want to come to Eretz Yisrael.
It took me 4 years to get my wife to finally say, okay.
Yeah, but it had to be in action. Right?
What?
You had to be stubborn.
Yeah, stubborn. I didn't give up, sure. Yeah.
And you were and it worked. See that? Here's an example. I can tell you the same thing in my story. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Shezeh Ikir Kedushas Yisrael Ishi Israeli. The main Kedusha is us here being in Eretz Yisrael. Isn't that amazing? And Hashem is showing all the Jews in all the countries, guys, you're not safe there anymore. Right? Wherever they go now, they're not safe there. The guy's walking on Crown Heights, on Kingston Avenue, and he gets stabbed. If you know Brooklyn a little bit, that's a very busy street. Kingston Avenue is a very busy street. It's right by Ocean Parkway, Kingston and Ocean Park. That's right, Chabad. That's center, right by that's right by 770. And the guy over there goes and he stabs a guy. Guys on the subways in New York City, and he gets beat up, and we want to kill you. Yeah, we want to kill you. Look at over there in Bondi, right? And in Sydney, Australia. And then everywhere else. That's the main victory of the war. Tisha Tikunin, which is lesson 20. Okay, Ayin Sham. Bevadai efshar lenatzeach milchama zois ki im al yedei akshonos gadol miyai. You're not going to persevere with this and be successful unless you are stubborn. It's amazing. Could you relate to that, Mordechai?
Unfortunately.
You can. Okay,
I
good.
remember every time they haven't been stubborn, and I remember every time they have been stubborn. So, definitely true.
Now, okay, here we go. And that's the main pride that Hashem has. Hashem has so much pride that we're in Eretz Yisrael. Do you believe that? Why? Because then He looks, we're doing mitzvahs here. And Hashem is looking at Eretz Yisrael. And He has such pride that we're in His land, in our land, right? Koyach masav higid liyamai. Nosais lahem nachlas goyim, right? Right, we learned about that, right? Remember that pasuk we learned? Right? Koyach masav higid liyamai. Right? What is that about? That Hashem says, yes, Rashi brings that pasuk, the first pasuk in the Torah, right? Hashem says, I made the land, I made the world, I gave Eretz Yisrael to the Zion Amim, to the 7 nations. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. I took it away from them, I gave it to you. But what's the problem today? Not all of us believe that. Right? If we all believe that, all these other guys would just pack up and leave. If we believed it, it's totally in our emunah, our betachon. Do you realize that? It's not our might. When we get stronger, they get stronger. Right? We get stronger, they get stronger. They get stronger, we get stronger. But how do we get them to leave? Not with fighting them, believing this is our land.
And being stubborn about it.
And being stubborn that this is our land. Exactly. Ki Hashem yisbarach mispar me'oid ba'azis ve'akshonus shel Yisraeli. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu likes when we have brazenness and stubbornness towards serving Him. Because He knows that's the only way we're going to do it. Some people are very stubborn. You know, I'm going to go to that game and I'm going to watch that game no matter what happens. I don't care. I'm going to be on the TV. I'm going to watch it. People do that, right? And other nonsense, right? They're just stubborn with certain things. But are they stubborn that I'm going to do avoid this Hashem? They try to knock us down, and every time we stand back up and we get down. He falls down, but he gets right back up. He doesn't want to be ever, he doesn't accept it. He doesn't accept this idea that I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do. I want to learn the daf. I'm going to learn the daf today. I'm not going to get anything. Nothing's going to get in my way. I'm going to do it. I want to do my hisbaidus today. I'm going to do my Yisbaidus today no matter what. I don't care. This is what he means. Give power, might to Hashem. Ayisrael Gavosai. We said HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem Molech Geyes Lovesh. Right? Hashem wears the garments of his pride of Klal Yisrael. That's what he wears. He makes out of the pride that he has with Klal Yisrael, he makes these garments. We also said these are the new souls that come back. Right? The souls that were away. And then the souls come back to Klal Yisrael, come back to Hashem. He loves that. Okay. Specifically, Zeh Bechinas Aziz V'Akshodesh Yisrael Shehem Azim V'Chazokim B'Avaydosam was strong and brazen when it comes to serving Hashem. Shayidei Zeh Ika Kabbalas HaTorah Shu Klalas Virus. And that's how you have Kabbalas HaTorah. You have to be stubborn. If you want to keep the Torah, you're going to have to be stubborn. Why was the Torah given to us? Right, the Gemara in Beitzah. Right, the Gemara in Beitzah says 25, page 25, up the second side. Why was the Torah given to us? Because we're brazen. By Yedei Zeh, Al Yisrael Gavosak, the Hainu Geyes Hisparis, Ki Zeh Iker Hisparusa Yisbarach, K'may Shekosa Ki Hisparis Uzamai Alta. That's the strength. Again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves when we have brazenness towards Him. Why? Because then we're doing the right thing, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu has so much more pride in us that we're doing the right thing. The main thing when we are brazen and stubborn to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's how we can win the battle. The spiritual battle, not the physical battle. The spiritual battle. We can win the spiritual battle against the Kitzeitze la Melchama Alayvecha, right? Who's the Avecha? They said, right, with the Parshat, Kitzeitze Melchama Alayvecha, who's the Avecha? You're the Yetzer Hara. Right? We're always battling with the Yetzer Hara. That's how you can battle and win the war with the Yetzer Hara. To come to Eretz Yisrael, how you like that? Sasha, do you like those words? You won the war. How do you like that? Look what he said. Look at this. Lovay l'Eretz Yisrael, shezeh ikar nitzacha in hamilchama. Come on, is that amazing? We all won the war. We're here.
Truly win the battle and reach the land of Israel.
What did you reach? You reached it? So that means you won the battle. That's pretty good, right? Come on. Because of being stubborn. That's the main pride that Hashem says. That's how you bring more Kedusha to Eretz Yisrael. We said, where does the holiness of Eretz Yisrael come from? When Hashem is looking at it. Tamid Einei Hashem Elokecha Ba Mereishis Hashana Nachos Hashana. He's looking at Eretz Yisrael. He's looking at the mitzvahs we're doing in Eretz Yisrael. And as he pays more close attention on it, he brings more Kedusha. Adds more Kedusha. And we can connect to that Kedusha. In other words, we said that the Kedusha only works if you connect to it. Right? The same way like we used the example. You can have the best cell tower out there. Right? The best service. But if you don't connect to the service, it's not going to work. You can have a good Wi-Fi signal wherever you are. But you don't connect to the Wi-Fi, you don't have any benefit. It's there. The Kiddush is here. It's in Eretz Yisrael. We have to just connect to it. And then you need to, how do you connect to it? With your brazenness. Then I'm going to come to the minyan. I'm going to do the mitzvah. I'm going to do the next mitzvah. I'm going to do my mitzvahs. Eretz Yisrael, because the main of Eretz Yisrael is this Isparis, the beauty that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has via us doing the mitzvahs. Zeh bechinas Hashem malkeis lavish Hashem ois is azar. Ika levush gavosai v'isparusai Yisbaruch Hu ayidei aziz v'akshanish sheyisrael bechinas lavish Hashem ois his azar. Ois, he wears his power and his might. What's the might? The might of our akshonas. The power we put in to be in action. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves. To do ois l'likim ha'yisol gavosei. V'zeh bechinas hashira l'Hashem ki goy go. Hey, look at these beautiful, wow. Zeh bechinas gavosei v'sparosei yizbarach. V'zeh hisparis nimshach ayidei ha'azes v'akshonas shel Yisrael. Right, we had to be akshonim in order to go into the Yam Suf, right? When we came to the Yam Suf, it's not normal that you walk in 600,000 people walking into the Yam Suf. We had to do with a little bit of azas, right? Right? You don't normally walk into the sea, right? And through that you can knock down the samach mem. The Sitra Acha, the Malach HaMav, all the same thing. The Chel Yosef and all of his armies, right? The Sitra Acha has his armies, right? They're called Hezbollah, they're called the Houthis, and they're called the Hamas, right? These are all his armies. The Iran is his army also, by the way. Iran is his army also. They're coming against every Jew every day. Unless you're going to be brazen and you're going to be stubborn, you're not going to do it. If you're just going to be lackadaisical about it, it's not going to work out. You got to set your mind to something and do it. Don't let anything get in your way. This is what it means that their horses and their chariots were in the Yam. Sus v'roch b'heim samach mem. V'nukvei kamuva b'kavonis. In the water, okay, whatever, in the feminine water. V'sheim leklal hasosois v'apituyim v'atayvas v'amenias v'ahurim v'machshava izorish v'mizgabim al-kol echem yisrael. And that's where all of the different desires come from. And that's where all the different obstacles come from. And then all those ideas, those thoughts that come into the person's mind, right? You get flooded with all of those thoughts, right? And all those strange thoughts. They got drowned in the Yam Suf, right? They drowned in the Yam Suf, right? Through us being brazen. So we can win against all of the Sitra Acha and all of his armies by us being brazen. Rama v'yam. Sus v'rochbay, Rama v'yam. V'zeu ozi v'zirmas ka Hashem v'yihili l'shua. Right? Isn't that beautiful? Look at this. HaYeshua v'ika hachnoa Sitra Acha hu al yidei azaz v'akshanis kedusha. Shu b'chinas ozi v'zirmas ka Hashem v'yihili l'shua. V'zeu ika isparusa yizbarach b'chinas ki goy go. We're going through Az Yoshi, right? Isn't it nice, right? The great joy Hashem has via each Jew, overcoming all the obstacles. Whether the obstacles are coming from his thoughts, whether the obstacles are coming from physical obstacles in his way. And he overcomes them, he perseveres, he soldiers on. It's amazing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves that. It's amazing. Anyone want to say anything on that? Anyone could relate to that? Can anyone relate to that? No?
When I'm going backwards, I'm not having the stubbornness.
When you're going backwards?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, you're either moving forward or going
you're having
backwards.
Yerida.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, look, okay. Okay. And that's how you can win the battle, and come to Eretz Yisrael, if you are constantly working and persevering and constantly overcoming all of the obstacles, and boy, there are a lot of obstacles. Zeh bechinas Hashem ish melchama. Hashem is the ish melchama. What do we say? Hashem is the ish melchama. He's the man of war. Ish melchama, right? How do you translate that? He's the warrior. The warrior, I guess. Ish melchama, warrior. Ki'ikad nitzachan ha-melchama shemischazkim ba'akshonas godol ad shezoichin lovay l'Eretz Yisrael. And again, the main thing is to come to Eretz Yisrael. And when you do that, because there is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu has more pride, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts more Kedusha, and so on. Kikol kavones hashira azois. Because the whole kavana of Oz Yoshi, the whole shira, the song, Hakol nema b'shvil liskois lavei l'Eretz Yisrael. The main thing is coming to Eretz Yisrael. But, right, like we said, like we're going to see in the Ki'ika Yitzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yamsuf, Hakol hoya b'shvil lavei l'Eretz Yisrael. The whole Kriyas Yamsuf, Yitzias Mitzrayim, everything was for us to get to Eretz Yisrael. We were in Egypt to become the nation that we had to come to. We came through the Yamsuf in order to see the Mitzrayim that they were drowned. We sang the Shira. What was the whole point of everything? For us to come to Israel. That was the whole point. As it says, Hashem took us out of Misham. Where was Sham? Mitzrayim. Lahavi, to bring us El Haaretz to Eretz Yisrael. That's what the whole point was. Torah says that. V'chein psukim ha'arabim k'mavayim izeh le'el ba'arichas be'hilchas Rosh Hashanah hanichla be'hilchas devarim haboyim l'suda halacha dalet. We learned about this in halacha dalet. Okay, ba'al kein mesayim b'soif ad yavor amzu dahainu sheyavru es hayardein lovay l'Eretz Yisrael. We passed through the Yamsuf ad yavor. We passed crossed over. Right, we passed through. Why did we pass through? In order to come to Eretz Yisrael. K'may sh'beres v'seinu zchanim l'vracha, as Chazal teach us. V'al kei, maskil hashira, ki goy ga ozi v'zirmas ka, ki ika Eretz Yisrael, zeichen ayadei is galus is parish, and is gal ayadei azus v'akshonish Yisrael. Because the main Eretz Yisrael comes through us persevering, being stubborn, being in action. I'm gonna come to the class. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna get angry. I will not get angry. I will give my tzedakah. All the mitzvahs, whatever it is, a person has to be has to have azus, the kedusha, azus and akshonis in order to be able to do it. That's the idea. The menorah was made out of one piece, Maaseh Menorah. That's the idea that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes, has a spirus in Yisrael. Shemisham Ikar Ha'or. That's where the main light comes from, the menorah, our menorah. Right, we light the menorah tonight. Is Zois Chanukah, Mitzvah Hashem. Wow, unbelievable. Right, what?
Too fast.
It's no, okay. It's not that it's fast. You accomplished all this light now.
I hope so.
Did you look at the menorah?
Yeah.
So your neshama accepted all that light from the Aragonas. And tonight you have such an opportunity to sit by the, and that's why it's going to be so many things. You're going to get to go to this place, go here, go there. Oh, there's going to be so many things. Come here, anything but not to look at the menorah.
Yeah.
Go here, go there. Yeah, you come to the. I got news for you. All of those things that's going to come out, those are all part of the Sitra Acha and his Chele Yosef. All of those things. You have time to look at the menorah. That's the main thing to do. That's the mitzvah. All right, anyway. Okay, V'al Kain. B'nei reis ha-menorah hoya eidush Hashem Yisbarach oyev Ama Yisrael u'mashur shchinasai b'hem. With the menorahs of the menorah, right? Especially when they stayed lit, right? This menorah stayed lit, right? We realized HaKadosh Baruch Hu really loves us. K'may Shem V'Sein Zon Levracha Al Ner HaMaravi Shu Eidus L'Chol Baya Olam Shashchin Shari Yisrael. The Ner Maravi, right? This the candle on the Maravi side, on the right. It never went out. The Ner Maravi never went out. Shezeh Bechinas Isparis Shemachmas Isparusay V'Avosay Banu Hu Masha Shchinasay B'Seichena, because of he loves us. That's why he puts his Shechina amongst us. Isn't that so nice? The whole idea of us working on it and persevering, and then going to collect the oil. Right, we went to Tekoa. That's where they had the grove, the olive grove. They call it a grove, right? The olive groves were in Tekoa, so you had to go from Yerushalayim to Tekoa. Today it's not a big deal, but by then it was a big trip, right? It was a big trip. They didn't have necessarily roads, so it was hard to get there. And it took them 7 days. It took them 7 days to go to Tekoa to press the olives, right? It was kosas lamor, right? It had to be only had to be the first drop, the first pure drop, right? So it took them time to do that. Each olive, you couldn't what do you call it? You couldn't make use just any olives. You couldn't use the whole olive, right? You couldn't do that.
It's olive from the top of trees.
Yeah. Yeah, there was. I was learning a beautiful piece, something to understand something. So it said that there was the pach shemen was munach with the chaysim from the Kohen Gadol, right? The Kohen had the Kohen Gadol stamp on it. But there's a question that's asked about that. See, the Kohen, when he uses and he does his own avodah, he does the mincha, right? He does the carbon mincha. He doesn't have to have the same level oil that you use to light the menorah. He can grind down his olive. He can grind the whole olive down, and make oil from it and use that. So Mamanashach, if he could have used any oil anyhow, if he could have used any oil anyway, because tumah hutra b'tzibur, right? If all the oil was tameh, and it was a communal thing to light the menorah, well, it's not a private thing. So if it's a communal thing, if everything is tameh, then you're allowed to use it. You're allowed to use the tameh, tumah hutra b'tzibur. And then if they found this pach shemen that was pure, but it wasn't the right material. So why use that? You understand the question? So the answer was something so nice that the Kohen was always so careful. The Kohanim was so careful that even though they didn't have to use the highest level of oil, but because they were such akshonim to do the mitzvahs the best way possible, they only used the best oil for their karbanas also, for the mincha. You understand? For this lesson. They were they were persevering to always do the mitzvah the finest way possible. As you see, these kohanim were looking for oil. Why were they looking for oil? They didn't have to. You see, they were persevering. It's the whole lesson. They didn't have to do it, but they did it anyway. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu enjoyed it so much. See how we can tie this into the lesson? It's amazing, right? I love to do that. I like to take the things that we're doing and tie. In other words, because they were so perseverant, they were such action. No, we're going to find some oil. So Hashem showed them the oil. And then Hashem showed them the oil, and He made the miracle that it lasted again. And it lasted again and again and again. B'zeh bechinas kol hatziyurim hanifloim shehayu b'menorah geviyim v'kaftoirim meshukodim u'prachim. The menorah had so many different things. It had cups. It had flowers. Meshukodim and parachim, right? Different kind of flowers, different kind of nut shapes, and different things. Kol zeh merames al kama mine gavone yisparish Hashem yisbarach mispar b'Yisrael sheb kululam Megivonim Sagian. They all come from the bright colors. So there were different formations on the menorah, different engravements, right? Different engravements of different things, showing that there are different types of Jews, right? And Hashem loves all types of Jews. He doesn't like only one type of Jew. And that's when we'll realize that. When Klal Yisrael will realize that today, that it's not only the Charedim, it's not only these guys, it's not the Hesed guys, it's everyone. Hashem loves everyone. He loves you because you're doing what you need to do. And He loves you because you're doing what you need to do. As long as we're following the Torah, everyone does it their own way. It's not to say one is right and one is wrong. No one's wrong. If you're trying to follow the Torah and the letter of the law, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. If you're following Shulchan Aruch and you're trying to find Hashem, you're doing it right. You're not doing it wrong. So why can't we appreciate everyone else the way we're learning? HaKadosh Baruch Hu appreciates everybody. Do you understand that? V'chol eilu haspara shehem b'chinas masay menorah ein zoichin kiyma yedei akshonos gadol shetzrichim lias akshin gadol b'avodas Hashem. You have to be so brazen when it comes to serving Hashem. That's the way all this happens. V'zeh b'chinas zeh masay menorah. This is the masay menorah. Miksha zav, miksha loshain akshonos. Miksha. Look at this. How do you like that? Miksha is a loshan of akshonos. Stubbornness. You have to be stubborn to make the menorah, right? Miksha, hammered, banged out, right? V'tzrichin liyas oz v'koshe b'avodas Hashem b'akshonos gadol mi'oid v'zeu ad yirecha epircha mikshahi. The whole entire menorah, from the top to the bottom, was mikshahi. It was made with brazenness. It was made with akshonos. It was made with stubbornness. That's the all the different beauty that Hashem sees in all the Jewish people. Hashem loves how every Jew is serving Him. How every Jew is serving Him. Hashem likes every Jew that's serving Him for the purpose of serving Hashem, without an ulterior motive. I'm just trying to serve Hashem. Hashem loves that. Not that I'm trying to impress somebody, He's trying to impress Him. No, my group is better than this group. That's not Yiddishkeit. Yiddishkeit is everyone does their thing to serve Hashem. They have their own expression, and Hashem loves that. Everyone can express their love for Hashem and their love for the Torah, love for Eretz Yisrael in their way, so long as they're following halacha. You can't say I'm going to follow. I love Hashem, and I'm well, that means I need to ride my car on Shabbat. That's we're not talking about that. If you're following halacha and you're doing it in your way, it's great. True bechinas masay menorah. Kol zeh nasir raka yedei akshonos bechinas ad yirecha pirchai miksha mitchila v'atzayv trichen akshonos v'azes gadol. You need to be very, 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 very brazen. Okay, I guess it's late now, so I guess we'll stop that over there. Any questions on this? We understand now it's very important to be brazen to serve Hashem.
Where are you stopping?
At 13. We did 12. Okay? 13 is short, 14 is short, but okay, but we'll pick it up tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, all right? Okay, we're learning Hilchas Chanukah now. We're in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. It's apropos, right? Hello? Apropos to learn Hilchas Chanukah, where it's the middle of Chanukah, right?
Yeah.
So we're in Kuf Lamed Tes, which is 139. And we're up to 12? Okay. What? 11, I think. No, 12?
Yeah,
11. Okay, we'll do 3 of them. Okay, we'll see if we can. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're in 139, and today we're up to Yud Aleph, which is Sifkat Yud Aleph 11. Seder hadlakosan kefi min hagenu. Okay, how do you light the candles according to our minhag? Okay, now these are laws we know, but it's nice to review them. And again, kol hashayna halachos b'chol yom muftach lo yishu ben olam haba. B'layla rishon madlik ner shekeneged yaminai. The first night you write one opposite your right. U'b'layla sheni moisif olav ner keneged smoilai. And then you start to the far right, and then you keep going to the left. Each night you will add to going towards the left. Because we're trying to bring the left back. See that? Sasha, you got that? We started the right, so we're going towards the left. We're trying to bring the left back to the right.
Right.
We're trying to bring the left back to the right. Got it?
It's always as I face it, right?
Yeah, as you face
If
it.
it's standing on the window, it's facing one way.
No,
It's
it's
standing
facing
on the
you,
outside,
the way
yeah.
you see it.
Right.
Because you're trying to bring the left back to the right.
You get that? We're trying to bring the left to the right.
There we go. Or at least to the middle.
Closer.
Yeah. Hopefully, okay. V'zeh shehu meisif madlik barishoyna paine v'hoylech liyaminai. Right? He goes and he keep doing it like that. Okay, here we go. Now Yud Beis. I think we understand that. Now Yud Beis. Balayla risha mevarach madlik koydem hadloka shalosh brachos. The first night, which was last week this time, right? Okay, the first night you light the candles. Balayla risha mevarach madlik. Amadlik koydem hadloka shalosh brachos. Before you light the menorah, you make all three brachas. Before you light, you make three brachas. The hadlik, shalos anisim, and shechiyanu. Uv'shara leilos einay mevorach shechiyanu. Lachas sheberich habrachos madlik ner echad. After you make the two brachas, and lahadlik ner Chanukah, and then you make the bracha shalos hanisim, you light one candle. Uvaoid shemadlik acherim oimer haneres halolu. You could start already saying the haneres halolu while you're lighting the candles, as long as you lit the first one. Right, so at least you have the first one lit properly. You hold it on there till it lit. Right, you don't just put the candle on the thing and you just run away. You hold it, so make sure it's hadlaka is a mitzvah. You want to light the candle, that you're lighting the candle, not that it's lighting by itself. Okay, ger oimer she'asa nisim liyisrael. How you like that? A ger says she'asa nisim liyisrael. I don't think we do that today anymore. I don't think so. Shalom, do you think they do that? What?
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
I don't get what you're doing.
Okay, so we say Shasa Nisim Laveseinu, where they did the miracles to our fathers. But the ger, if he's a convert, he says the Shasa Nisim Liyisrael, that Hashem did the miracles to the Jewish people. V'im Amar Laveseinu Yotza. But if the ger says Lava Yiseinu, he's still okay. He's okay with that. Oinein Rachman Litzlan. What happens if someone's an onein, right? He found out that someone Chas v'Shalom passed away, and he didn't get to bury the person yet. He's an onein. So what does he do? Im yesh acher, if there's somebody else in the house, he's not by himself. Yadlik ha'acher v'hu oina omein. Because an onein doesn't do mitzvahs. He's not allowed to do mitzvahs, right? He's not required to do any mitzvahs. He's not allowed to do mitzvahs. So if there's someone else there, he can answer amen. Let the other person light the menorah, and the onein will answer amen. That isn't allowed to do. If he has a bracha, he can answer amen. But let's say there is nobody else there, so he can light the menorah also, but again, he doesn't make the bracha on the lighting. Okay, here, let's do Yud Gimel. Kaima lon hadloka oisa mitzvah. That's what we were saying before. Hadloka oisa mitzvah. The lighting does the mitzvah. When you light it, you hold the candle on, it makes the mitzvah. Perish. Hadloka hi mitzvah, ubeshas hadloka tzrichin liyas haneres b'koimon haroyu ukishir haroyu. when you're making the bracha, you already have to have your menorah set up, the Chanukah is set up, you have to have the candles, the oil, everything all set in there. Which is not in case if you're lighting less than what? I understand that. Yeah. Oy lemala me'esrim ama. Achar kach shehem dolkim henicham b'mekoymon psulin. So you're supposed to put the menorah from 3 to 10, right? That's where it's supposed to be. But let's say you put the menorah way high or way low. You had it on the floor, and then you'll say, "Oh, I'll move it over." That's no good, because again, the menorah has to be in the right place when you light it. And let's say when you were lighting it, you realize, oh, wait a second, I didn't put enough oil in there. It may not last for 30 minutes. And then you add, loy mahani, it doesn't help you. It's not going to be because again, it had to be ready when you made the bracha. Let's say you're in a place where it's very windy and the wind will put out the candle. You have to light it again. Because again, you're supposed to make sure you're lighting in a place that it can sustain the light for 30 minutes. Okay, so if you're outside, you put it in one of those nice boxes that's meant to protect it, that's fine. There's no problem because you close the door and then the wind won't... I think they work pretty good, right, Shalom?
They work very good.
What? Even with the wind, it won't put it out, right? Yeah. What happens? You lit it properly, everything, and then something happened. It wasn't, there was enough oil, and it wasn't a place that it was supposed to be windy, and it wasn't whatever. You had your box, you hung your box up, let's say outside. Some people hang them on the wall, right? And then the box fell down and it went out. It was fine. You checked that the box was okay. I'm just giving you an example of how that would be. It fell down or whatever. Your dog went by, knocked over the table, knocked over the menorah. Possible, right? Right? I'm just giving you an example where you did it the right way. You did everything the right way, and it wasn't in your control that it happened. Okay, got it? Okay, so in that case, I'm the Karoy by day mikra kvar kiyem hamitzvah. You already fulfilled the mitzvah. You don't have to light it again. You did the mitzvah. But we do go back and light it again. It's proper. You don't have to, but it's the nice thing to do. Hey, you went out, so relight the menorah and let it burn. We don't use one candle to light the next candle, right? We take it for granted that we do all these things, but you're following halacha actually. You're using candles, so you can take the tonight. You take the 8th candle, you light them, and then you light the 7 and the 6, and then with the candle, and then put it back. We don't do that. You don't use the candle that's for the night. You don't use it to light up another candle. Ela madlik min hashamash oy min ner acher. From another one. Should we do one more halacha, or we're done for today?
Sure.
We can do one more.
Yeah.
One more. Yeah, we have permission. Okay. Kolzman shemitzvasa and hainu chatzi shah asa lehanos may oyran. The first 30 minutes when you're looking at it, you can't have any hana from its light. And that's why we put the shamas with the menorah, so in case you would happen to walk by and you're reading by it or whatever it is. So we say you're not using the light of the candles, but you're using the light of the shamash. That's why we're very adamant that there's a shamash there, because you're not allowed to use them, you're not allowed to benefit by them, you're only allowed to look at them. Right, so now let's say I'm looking at my watch, I'm looking whatever, and I'm using the light. So then I'm violating. No, so therefore we'll make sure there's a shamas there. So therefore you're not using the light itself. Okay? I'm using the or from the shamish, not from the candles. Here's another one. When you do the shamas, he should not be on the same level. We said the law was that all the candles have to be the same level, but the shamas should be a higher. It could sometimes they make it lower, whatever, but usually it's higher. They make the shamas higher. Okay, nika she'enai mi minyan haneiros. So therefore, it's not from the minyan of the neiros. It's not part of the candles. Okay, we got that. You understand that? That's why we have the shamas, and it's very, very important. Okay, and Mitzvah Hashem will finish tomorrow. Tesva. Well, we have 26. So all right, we'll see what we can do. Okay, everyone have a wonderful day. Chodesh Tov and Chanukah Sameach. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.